Hello to all of my fellow collectors and stackers out there in YouTube. Gonna be wearing gloves for this video just because I got a couple small burns on my hands at work over the course of the last week, and one of them is right about here, and on camera it looked pretty nasty, so didn't want you guys to have to look at that for the whole video. So got gloves on here, and we're getting into the final part of my Franklin.Half.Addict registry set. Got 6 coins here, and there are several dates missing in this section of the final few years of the series. This video will probably be a little bit quicker than the previous 5 parts, just because the 1960s in the series aren't all that exciting to me. So really nothing crazy to show in this video. So as I said, I'll probably kind of breeze through a few of these, but first coin here is a 59 in 65 FBL. Try to get a little closer to the lights here. All right, so there we go. 65 FBL. The coin itself is, I think overall pretty nice for the grade. Very, very few and extremely minor marks on the obverse. Fully blast white. And reverse, same thing, very clean. Decent luster, not really above average or anything crazy. I did send this coin, or had it sent to CAC. It didn't pass, which kind of surprised me because for a 65 it has very minimal marks, but the note that was given on why it failed was just abrasions. Didn't say what side of the coin or specifically where. This was probably 6 years ago when I had it sent in. And when I got the coin back, I looked over it very extensively. Didn't use any magnification, but I couldn't really pick up on where the abrasions were that caused it to fail until actually just before I started making this video. I looked over the coin again, and the only kind of spot I could find was right over where it says pass and stow on the bell. You can see, let me see if I can focus a little closer. Yeah, there's kind of little scratches. Yeah, what looks like maybe an abrasion there, scuff mark. Doesn't really show up like crazy just because of where it is. It's across some lettering and kind of in the same direction of the lettering, so it's hidden. And again, I don't even know if that is exactly the spot that they saw at CAC, but that's really the only thing that stood out to me, because otherwise I think it's a really, really nice coin for the grade. Next is a 59D, and I bought this from a collector on Instagram, I don't know, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's got some pretty dramatic toning around the rim. Obviously, y'all can see that. I think it's kind of neat, very tight color bands. So pretty nice coin for the date. Not a really easy date to find with nice toning. So when I saw this, it was in a good grade, 65 FBL, which is kind of what I like to shoot for in all the coins in the series. So had to grab it. The reverse, really nothing special. A little bit of toning up above the bell. Little scuff mark there, kind of centrally located on the bell. But nothing crazy enough to knock it down a grade. I definitely agree with the 65 grade, and pretty pleased with this coin and happy to have it in the set. Next here is, so we're getting into the 60s now, and as I stated earlier, really nothing exciting about this era of the series for me, so kind of tough for me to find coins I like that I want to add to my set, but this happened to be one of them. And again, it's just kind of a blast white coin, which is good, I guess. It's fine for me, but I personally prefer some sort of toning, a little bit of toning, something to make the coin unique, although it really isn't easy at times to find fully brilliant blast white coins that don't have any sort of haze or spots or fingerprints or whatever. But 65 full bell lines, again, good grade, what I shoot for. You know, pretty clean overall, decent luster, nothing crazy. Good enough to have in the set for now, but someday hopefully I can find a nicer example to replace this one. But in the meantime, definitely a good placeholder. 1961, 64 full bell lines, and a little bit lower grade than I prefer. 64s are still nice coins, but I think the jump from 64 to 65 is really where you start to see the cleanliness overall in the coins. To be a 64, there's not really significant marks on the coin, but enough to stand out to you know, collectors that have, you know, the experience and knowledge to really look for those things. So you can see across the top of Franklin's head, there's, you know, a few hits. His cheek's pretty scuffed up, and there's a few scratches and dings out in the fields, but a little bit of toning there on the bottom, which is nice, kind of sets this coin apart from every other just white coin. And then also for the Philadelphia issues in the 60s, so 1960, 61, 2, and 3, Philly, all are a little bit tougher in the series to find with full bell lines. So although this isn't a really super high graded coin, it is nice because it does have the full bell line. So a little bit tougher grade for the date. So pretty solid coin for the time being. And again, as the what I have here, the 60D, I think someday hopefully I can find a nice coin to upgrade that in the set. Next coin here is the 1963 Philly, and again the 64 FBL. 64, I don't love the grade, would prefer a 65, but good enough placeholder for the time being. And actually I bought this coin on eBay at least 10 years ago. It was in an old PCGS rattler holder, and I cracked it out, had it sent to NGC. I think the PCGS holder, I forget if it was graded Mint State 63 or 64, but for those that don't know, PCGS and actually NGC and I think Anax kind of early on, Anax recognized or used the FBL designation, but PCGS and NGC did not. So in the era of the rattler holders, they didn't designate FBL. So when I bought this, even from the pictures on eBay, I could kind of see that the bell lines did look full, and they indeed are. So I cracked it out, sent it to NGC, came back 64 FBL, which for the date is, as I said, kind of tough to find full bell lines. I think even in the 64 grade, this is at least $150 coin. It might be around 200. I'm not sure. I haven't really done any research on this date in a little while, but I don't love the toning. I actually kind of think it's a slight negative, but kind of just a placeholder in the set for now. So, you know, good enough, I guess, at this point. But someday, definitely hope to either find a higher grade with full bell lines or just a nicer Mint State 64, but definitely want the full bell lines. So last coin for the set is a 63D, and for anyone that doesn't know, that W indicates white, so a coin that's fully white, no toning. NGC would have given the W designation. That was a very short-lived designation for NGC. I don't know how long they did it, but it was less than a year. So a coin that was toned would have gotten a T. So if this was, you know, kind of a toned coin, it would have been 65T FBL. Not really sure why NGC thought they had to do that, because anyone looking at a coin can tell if it's toned and they can tell if it's white. And then in their registry, the W or T doesn't add any value in, you know, their point system. So it's just kind of a unique oddity in the history of grading. So they're kind of neat to get these holders with those letters on them, just because, as I said, it was a very short-lived thing. So but this coin overall is pretty nice, definitely worthy of the 65 level. Full bell lines there, decent luster. So pretty happy with this coin, and that will conclude the series of my Franklin half registry. There are the final 6 coins, and just as a small little bonus for those who have watched to the end of the video, I got 2 raw Franklins here. They're new to my collection. I went to a coin show a few weeks ago and found these. It was from an old album that a dealer had, and there was maybe 10 empty holes in the album. So I guess the dealer had probably sold those coins separately, probably earlier on in the show. The show went from Friday to Sunday, and I was there Saturday afternoon. So collectors and dealers had a whole day and a half of the show to kind of pick through all the good stuff before I got there. But I was able to find these 2 coins, which are still pretty nice. And what was nice actually about being able to get these out of that album is a lot of times when you see a dealer that has a full album in their display case or in their shop, they don't want to piece out the album. They prefer to sell it as a whole. I actually bought a Jefferson nickel album a few years ago, probably 4 years ago at this point, just because there was a handful of nickels in the album that I really, really liked, and I wanted just those handful, but the dealer wouldn't break up the album, so I had to pay for the whole album, which was a little pricey, and I definitely lost money on it. But to get just those few coins out of the album maybe was worth it. I don't know. Looking back on it, I kind of regret it, because it was a decent chunk of change. But again, that's kind of, I guess, the way collecting goes. But I'll start actually with this, the 1957. Both coins look fairly similar. They're nice, clean coins and have a similar toning. You know, not really spectacular toning, but just pretty nice little addition to the coin. This 57, I would probably grade at a 65, and bell lines, I would say kind of a borderline. Could go one way or the other. They look pretty full to me, but might just be a little bit of weakness on the top set just to the left of the crack, where NGC one way or the other would give full bell lines or not to this coin. Maybe someday I'll send it in for grading in the hopes that it comes back as a 65 FBL. But in the meantime, definitely happy to just have this in the collection as a raw coin. Nice luster, nice toning, so pretty happy with that. And then the 56 here, a little bit lower grade, probably a 64. There's a lot of die polish lines kind of all over the coin. You can definitely see kind of under the bust there and behind Franklin's head. Pretty significant polishing even in the right hand field over there. But nice luster, nice toning. And this date in the series typically does come with nice luster, so it's not really a spectacular coin for the date, but in general, I really do think it's a nice coin. So, but what stood out in this coin to me, and I don't know if it'll show up in the video here, but it does appear that it might be the Bugs Bunny variety. There is, let me see, I'm gonna have to try to get it in the perfect angle of the light. Yeah, right there. You can kind of see a little fang action hanging out there. But I am not 100% convinced this is a genuine Bugs Bunny variety. It might just be a very perfectly placed hit, because I did have a 1952 Philly Franklin, probably about 10 or 12 years ago, that had a very similar looking mark above the lip that I was convinced was the Bugs Bunny variety, so I sent it to PCGS. And it did grade 65 full bell lines, which is nice because that's pretty good grade for that date, but PCGS was very adamant that it was not the Bugs Bunny variety, which was kind of disappointing because the 1952 Bugs Bunny and 65 full bell is a pretty valuable coin. I don't own that coin anymore. I did end up selling it. But yeah, so that is the end of this video and the end of my Franklin Half Registry set series for now. As I add coins to the set or upgrade anything, I'll probably make some update videos. I think I'm down to 5 remaining coins in the set to need. I know it's the 51 I need, the 52D, and then some 1960s. I think it's a 1960P, a 61D, and then these 62P and D. So someday I will finish this set. And until then, thank you all for watching and have a wonderful day.